I sat in my rental car outside our home in Chiang Mai, staring at my phone screen with trembling hands. The motion-activated camera I'd hidden in our bedroom had just sent an alert. It was 3 in the afternoon. I was supposed to be in Bangkok signing property transfer documents for the house I was buying for my wife's family, 4 million baht, about 90,000 pounds. The final piece of the life I thought we were building together. Instead, I'd driven back early, suspicious after weeks of noticing small inconsistencies, hidden phone calls, deleted messages. A younger man she called her cousin, who visited too often when I wasn't home, the way she'd pull away when I tried to hold her. I opened the camera app on my phone. The live feed loaded slowly, and then I saw it. My wife Nari, who everyone called Noon, was in our bed. With another man. They were laughing, drinking from the expensive whiskey I'd bought for special occasions, completely naked under the sheets we'd bought together when we'd furnished our home. But what destroyed me wasn't just the affair. It was what happened next. Noon picked up our wedding photo from the nightstand, the one from our small Buddhist ceremony 6 months earlier, and showed it to her lover. They both laughed. Then she said something in Thai. The camera had audio, and though I didn't understand every word, I understood enough. He thinks I'm his future. He's just my bank. They laughed again. Her lover said something crude about old foreigners. Noon responded with details about the property transfer, about how once her family's house was in her name, she'd have secured everything she needed. I sat in that car for 20 minutes, watching my marriage disintegrate on a phone screen, watching the woman I'd married, supported, loved the woman I'd given up my life in England for mock me with her boyfriend, in the bed I'd paid for, in the house I'd built, laughing about how successfully she'd manipulated me. By the time I turned off the video, I wasn't heartbroken anymore. I was cold, clear, and determined. She thought I was just her bank. She thought I was a naive old man who'd sign over 90,000 pounds to her family without question. She was wrong. My name is Michael Hargrove. Everyone calls me Mike. I'm 58 years old, a former contractor from Leeds, England. And this is how I discovered my Thai wife was using me, and how I used that discovery to stop her from destroying me completely. If you've been enjoying the stories I tell, please consider hitting the subscribe button. Your support is crucial for the growth of this channel and helps me dedicate time to making these videos despite my commitment to a full-time job. Thank you for being here. Before I tell you about Noon and the disaster our marriage became, you need to understand who I was before Thailand. I was a successful, disciplined man who'd built a good life through hard work. The last person you'd expect to fall for a romance scam. I was born and raised in Leeds, West Yorkshire. Working class background, my father worked in manufacturing. My mother was a cleaner at a local school. I left school at 16, got an apprenticeship in carpentry, learned the building trade from the ground up. By the time I was 25, I'd started my own home renovation company. Small at first, just me in a van, taking on kitchen refits and bathroom installations. But I was good at it, reliable, and word spread. Within 10 years, I had 5 employees and was managing full house renovations across West Yorkshire. I married young, met my wife Sharon when I was 28. She worked as a receptionist at a dental practice. We had a good marriage for about 15 years, built the business together, bought a nice house in a decent suburb, but we couldn't have children infertility issues that we tried to address but eventually accepted. The childlessness put strain on the marriage. Sharon wanted to adopt. I wanted to focus on the business. We grew apart gradually, then divorced when I was 45. No drama, no affairs, just 2 people who'd built different ideas of what life should be. After the divorce, I threw myself into work, expanded the business, took on bigger projects, built a solid reputation. By my mid-50s, I had 15 employees, a workshop, multiple crews running simultaneously. The business was successful, profitable, stable, but it was also exhausting. The stress of managing people, dealing with difficult clients, chasing payments, handling complaints, it wore me down. By the time I was 56, I was tired. Tired of British weather, tired of VAT returns and health and safety regulations, tired of the constant grind. That's when I received an offer I couldn't refuse. A larger construction firm wanted to buy my business. They liked our reputation, wanted to absorb our client list and key employees. They offered £750,000. I accepted. At 57, I sold everything, paid off my mortgage, settled my debts, and walked away with about £750,000 in liquid assets. I was semi-retired, financially secure, and completely directionless. I'd spent 30 years building a business and had nothing to show for it except money. No wife, no children, no real friends outside of work relationships. I'd go entire weekends without speaking to anyone. That's when I started thinking about retiring abroad. I'd watch YouTube videos of British expats living in Spain, Portugal, Thailand, places where money went further, weather was better, life was simpler. Thailand particularly appealed to me. I'd visited once on holiday years earlier, loved the culture, the food, the people's friendliness. And unlike Spain or Portugal where property was expensive, Thailand was incredibly affordable. I could build something beautiful for a fraction of what it would cost in the UK. In early 2023, I booked a 3-month exploratory trip. I'd visit different cities, see where felt right, maybe buy land and build a retirement home. I landed in Bangkok in March, then traveled north to Chiang Mai. The moment I arrived, I knew I'd found my place. Surrounded by mountains, cooler climate than Bangkok, rich cultural heritage, active expat community. It felt peaceful in a way Leeds never had. I rented a serviced apartment initially while I looked at land. I wanted to build something. It was what I knew, what I was good at. Found a beautiful plot on the outskirts of Chiang Mai, about 2 ray, roughly 3,000 square meters with mountain views. Cost was 1,800,000 baht, about 40,000 pounds. In the UK, that wouldn't buy you a parking space. I hired local architects and contractors, designed a 3-bedroom house with Thai and Western elements, started construction. The entire project, land, house, furnishings, cost about 4 million baht total, roughly 90,000 pounds. In the UK, that might buy you a 1-bedroom flat in a bad area. By August, my house was finished. Beautiful open-plan living area, large kitchen, master bedroom with ensuite, 2 guest rooms, covered terrace, small garden. I was living in paradise for a fraction of what life cost in England. But I was also lonely, deeply, achingly lonely. I'd built this beautiful home, and there was no one to share it with. I'd eat meals alone on my terrace watching the sunset, and I'd feel the emptiness crushing me. That loneliness made me vulnerable, made me receptive when I met someone who seemed to fill that void. That someone was Noon. I met Noon in September, about a month after moving into my finished house. A British expat friend named Colin had invited me to dinner at a restaurant in Chiang Mai's old city. Colin had been in Thailand for 10 years, knew the expat community, wanted to help me integrate socially. When I arrived at the restaurant, Colin was sitting with a small group, 2 other British expats and 2 Thai women. One of the Thai women was Noon. She was 22 years old, though I didn't know that initially. She looked younger, petite, with long dark hair, dressed conservatively in jeans and a modest blouse. She was quiet, shy, spoke decent English, and seemed uncomfortable with the more boisterous atmosphere at the table. During dinner, she sat next to me. We talked, she asked, about my house, about England, about what brought me to Chiang Mai. She told me she'd recently graduated from university with a degree in hospitality management and was working at a boutique hotel in Chiang Mai. I want to work at international hotel chains someday, she explained, Marriott or Shangri-La, but for now, I am learning at small hotel, getting experience. She seemed ambitious, professional, grounded, not like the bar girls I'd heard about in Pattaya or Bangkok. She came from Phitsanulok, a city south of Chiang Mai, and had moved north for better job opportunities. What struck me most was her demeanor. She wasn't flirtatious or forward. She didn't touch my arm or laugh too loudly at my jokes. She just talked like a normal person, asking genuine questions, sharing information about Thai culture when I asked. After dinner, Colin pulled me aside. Noon's a good girl. Family-oriented Buddhist, not into the party scene. If you're looking for someone decent, she's not a bad option. I'm not looking for anyone, I'd said, though that was a lie. I was desperately looking. I just didn't want to admit it. Over the next few weeks, I'd see Noon occasionally at expat gatherings or at the gym we both attended. We'd chat casually, exchange line messages about restaurant recommendations or local events. It felt natural, unforced. In October, I invited her to see my house. She came over on a Saturday afternoon, complimented the design and the views, seemed genuinely impressed. You built this yourself? She asked. I hired contractors, but I designed it and managed the project. I was a builder in England for 30 years. You are very talented. This is beautiful house, very peaceful. We sat on my terrace drinking iced coffee, talking about life, about her family, about my loneliness in this big, empty house. You should have wife, she said simply. House like this needs family. Otherwise, is just building. I was married once. It didn't work out. Maybe you marry wrong person. Maybe right person is still waiting. The way she said it, not flirtatious, just matter of fact, made me wonder if she was suggesting something. But I didn't want to presume. She was 22. I was 57. 35-year age gap. That wasn't a relationship. That was absurd. But over the next month, we spent more time together. Dinners, market trips, temple visits, cooking together at my house. She'd teach me Thai phrases. I'd tell her about England, about my business, about the life I'd left behind. She never asked for money, never hinted at needing help. She'd split bills or insist on paying sometimes. She seemed self-sufficient, proud, independent. That independence made me trust her. She wasn't a gold digger. She had a job, paid her own way, had her own life. If anything developed between us, it would be genuine. By November, we'd become intimate. It felt natural, not transactional. She was affectionate, caring, present. Afterward, lying in bed, she'd rest her head on my chest and talk about the future. I think I am falling in love with you, Mike, she said one night. I know it's strange. I am young, you are older, but age doesn't matter. What matters is how a person treats you. And you treat me with respect, with kindness. You make me feel safe. I'm falling in love with you too, I admitted. And I was. For the first time since Sharon, I felt deeply connected to someone. My family will like you, she said. When you are ready, I want you to meet them. Want them to see that I have found good man who takes care of me. In December, just 3 months after we'd met, Noon moved into my house. She'd given up her apartment, brought her belongings, settled into my home like she'd always belonged there. We were building a life together, or so I believed. In February, 5 months after we'd met, Noon suggested we get married. Not a big wedding, just a traditional Buddhist ceremony at a local temple with our close friends and her family. In Thai culture, she explained, if woman lives with man but they not married, people judge. They think she is bad woman. I want my family to know we are serious, that you respect me enough to marry me properly. The idea felt right. I loved her. She loved me. We were living together anyway. Marriage would formalize what we already had. There is also sin sod, she said carefully, is traditional Thai dowry. Groom gives money to bride's family to show he can take care of her, is sign of respect. How much is traditional? I asked. Depends on bride's education and family. For university, graduate from good family, maybe 400,000 to 600,000 baht, about 9,000 to 13,000 pounds. That seemed reasonable for a wedding and dowry combined. In the UK, weddings cost tens of thousands. This was modest by comparison. I'll give 500,000 baht, I said, about 11,000 pounds. Will that be acceptable to your family? She'd cried, hugged me, told me I was too generous. You are good man, Mike. My family will be so happy, so proud. The wedding was held in late March. Small ceremony at a temple in Chiang Mai, attended by about 30 people, mostly her family from Phitsanulok, a few of my expat friends, some of her local friends. Traditional Thai ceremony with monks blessing our marriage, exchanging flower garlands. The sinsod presented to her parents in a traditional gold-colored bowl. Her family seemed nice. Her mother cried with happiness. Her father shook my hand firmly. Her 2 younger siblings were shy but friendly. They didn't speak English, so Noon translated, but they seemed genuinely welcoming. After the ceremony, we had a small reception at a restaurant. Her father gave a speech, translated by Noon, thanking me for honoring his daughter with marriage, for showing respect to their family, for being a good man. My father says you are like his son now, Noon told me, her eyes misty. Says he is grateful that I found someone who will take care of me after he is gone. I felt accepted, valued, part of a family. It was exactly what I'd wanted when I'd moved to Thailand. Connection, belonging, purpose. But within weeks of the marriage, things started to change. Noon began mentioning her family's struggles. Her parents' house in Phitsanulok was old, falling apart, needed major renovations. Her father's health was declining, diabetes and high blood pressure, and they couldn't afford good medical care. Her younger brother wanted to go to university, but they had no money for tuition. "I feel so guilty," she'd say. "I have this beautiful house, comfortable life, while my family struggles. Makes me feel like bad daughter." "How much would it cost to renovate their house?" I asked. She pulled out photos on her phone, a modest wooden house in a rural village, clearly deteriorating. "Maybe 2 million baht for full renovation, about 45,000 pounds, but is too much. I cannot ask you for this." "You're not asking. I'm offering. They're my family now too. I want to help." She protested initially, said it was too much, that I'd already been so generous with the sin sod. But I insisted. I wanted to help. Wanted to show her family I was serious about taking care of Noon and, by extension, taking care of them. Over the next 3 months, I transferred money in installments for the renovation. 500,000 baht for initial construction, 700,000 baht for materials, 500,000 baht for interior work, 800,000 baht for finishing and furniture. Total, 2,500,000 baht, about 56,000 pounds. Noon would show me photos of the construction progress, new concrete structure replacing the old wooden house, rooms taking shape, modern kitchen and bathrooms being installed. "My parents are so grateful," she'd tell me. "They cry every time I call them. They say you are a blessing from heaven, that Buddha sent you to help our family." I also started sending monthly support 50,000 baht, about 1,100 pounds for her parents' living expenses and her father's medication. By June, 6 months after our marriage, I'd spent approximately 3,500,000 baht, about 78,000 pounds on the wedding, dowry, house renovation, and monthly support. But I didn't mind. I had the money. Noon and her family were appreciative. I was building something meaningful: family, connection, purpose. Then Noon mentioned one more opportunity, one final investment that would secure her family's future completely. In July, Noon's parents called with exciting news. A plot of land adjacent to their property was for sale, about 3 rai, roughly 4,800 square meters, at an excellent price. If they could buy it, they could farm it, generate income, secure their financial future. "This is once-in-lifetime opportunity," Noon explained. "The land is very good near the road, has water access, perfect for farming or maybe building rental properties. Owner needs to sell quickly because he is moving to Bangkok. Price is only 4 million baht, about 90,000 pounds. Normally, land like this costs double. 4 million baht. Another 90,000 pounds. Added to what I'd already spent, this would bring my total investment to about 168,000 pounds. "I know is a lot," Noon said carefully. "But this is investment, not gift. Once land is purchased, my family can farm it, rent it, maybe even sell it later for profit. Is security for their old age, and for us means they won't need monthly support anymore. They can support themselves." The logic seemed sound. Instead of sending 50,000 baht monthly indefinitely, I'd make one large investment that would make them self-sufficient. In the long run, it would actually save money. "Would the land be in your family's name?" I asked. "Yes, has to be. Foreigners cannot own land in Thailand, but we are married now. Your money, my family, is all same thing. What's mine is yours. What's yours is mine. We are one family." I'd read about foreign property ownership restrictions in Thailand. Knew that I couldn't legally own land, that it had to be in a Thai national's name. This was standard practice for foreign men married to Thai women. "Let me think about it," I said. Over the next week, Noon was patient but quietly persistent. She'd mention how excited her parents were, how this opportunity wouldn't last, how grateful she was that I even considered it. She never pressured, never demanded, just reminded me gently of the opportunity. In late July, I agreed. We'd buy the land, 4 million baht, approximately 90,000 pounds. "We need to go to Bangkok," Noon explained. "Land transfer documents have to be processed at the main land office. Is complicated process. Takes several days. We will need to bring all the marriage documents, identification papers, everything." We scheduled the trip for mid-August. Noon arranged everything: hotel in Bangkok, appointment at the land office, meeting with her family's lawyer who would facilitate the transfer. But about a week before we were supposed to leave for Bangkok, I started noticing things that made me uneasy. The first thing I noticed was Noon's phone behavior. She'd always been relatively open with her phone, would leave it lying around, wouldn't panic if I picked it up to check the time. But starting in early August, she became protective of it. She'd take it with her everywhere, to the bathroom, to the kitchen, even just walking to the bedroom. When messages came in, she'd quickly dismiss the notifications before I could see who they were from. When I'd walk into a room while she was on a call, she'd quickly end the conversation. "Who was that?" I'd ask. "Just my cousin. Checking on me." But it happened too frequently. Daily calls that she'd abruptly end when I appeared. Late-night messages that made her phone buzz after we'd gone to bed. The second thing I noticed was her pulling away physically. We'd gone from being affectionate and intimate regularly to barely touching. When I'd try to kiss her, she'd turn her head so I'd kiss her cheek instead of her lips. When I'd reach for her at night, she'd claim to be tired or not feeling well. "Is everything okay?" I'd ask. "Yes, fine. Just stressed about the land purchase. Worried about my parents. Lot on my mind." But it felt like more than stress. It felt like distance, like she was pulling away from me emotionally and physically. The third thing I noticed was a young man who started appearing at our house. Noon introduced him as her cousin Sumchai from Phitsanulok. He was in his mid-20s, handsome, drove a nice motorbike. "He is studying at Chiang Mai University," Noon explained. "I told him he could visit sometimes, maybe stay for dinner. Hope is okay." It was okay initially. I liked being hospitable, enjoyed having company. But Somchai started visiting frequently, multiple times per week. Always when I was out at the gym, running errands, meeting with expat friends. I'd come home and find them sitting close together on the sofa, laughing, quickly separating when I entered. Or I'd hear them talking in low voices in Thai on the terrace, going silent when I approached. "What were you talking about?" I'd ask. "Just family gossip. Nothing important." By mid-August, about a week before we were scheduled to go to Bangkok for the land transfer, my suspicions had grown into full paranoia. Something was wrong. I could feel it, but I had no proof. That's when I decided to install the camera. I want to be clear about this. I'm not proud that I secretly recorded my wife. In the UK, it would likely be illegal. Even in Thailand, there are privacy laws. But I was desperate to know the truth. Desperate to confirm or dismiss my suspicions before I signed over £90,000 to her family. I bought a small motion-activated camera online, the kind marketed for home security. Tiny device, about the size of a coin, with Wi-Fi connectivity that would send alerts and allow me to view live or recorded footage on my phone. I installed it in the air conditioning vent in our bedroom. The vent was high on the wall with a perfect view of the bed and most of the room. The camera was invisible unless you knew to look for it. I set it to record when motion was detected and to send real-time alerts to my phone. Then I waited. For 3 days, nothing unusual happened. The camera captured me and Noon going to bed, waking up, getting dressed. Normal domestic life. Then came the day we were supposed to leave for Bangkok. The plan was to drive down together, about 8-hour journey, stay in Bangkok for 3 nights while we processed the land transfer, then return. Noon had packed our bags, confirmed the hotel, reminded me multiple times to bring all necessary documents. On the morning we were supposed to leave, she suddenly claimed she felt ill. Stomach problems. Nothing serious, but traveling 8 hours in a car would be miserable. "You go ahead," she suggested. "Handle the initial paperwork. I will feel better by tomorrow and can join you then. It's probably just something I ate." I was suspicious but couldn't refuse without revealing my distrust. "Are you sure? Maybe we should postpone the whole trip." "No, don't postpone. Her parents are expecting us. Her lawyer has scheduled everything. You go. Start the process. I will join you tomorrow when I feel better." So I left. Drove to Bangkok alone, checked into our hotel, messaged Noon that I'd arrived safely. She responded with loving messages, apologizing for not being there, promising to join me the next day. But I wasn't actually in Bangkok. I'd driven about an hour south of Chiang Mai, then parked at a rest stop. I told Noon I was in Bangkok, that the drive had been long, that I was settling into the hotel. Then I opened the camera app on my phone and waited. The motion alert came at 2 in the afternoon. Someone had entered our bedroom. I opened the live feed, heart pounding. The image loaded slowly on my phone. The camera's resolution wasn't perfect, but it was clear enough. Noon walked into frame. She wasn't alone. Somchai, her supposed cousin, was with her, They were laughing, relaxed, holding hands. I watched as Noon locked the bedroom door behind them. As they kissed, not a quick kiss between cousins, but a deep, passionate kiss between lovers. As they started undressing each other, I should have turned it off. Should have stopped watching. But I was frozen, horrified, unable to look away. They got into bed, our bed, the bed I'd bought, in the house I'd built. They were intimate, affectionate, clearly familiar with each other. This wasn't a new affair. This was a relationship that had history, comfort, routine. Afterward, they lay in bed talking. Somchai got up and poured 2 glasses of whiskey from the bottle of Johnny Walker Blue Label I'd bought for special occasions. They toasted, laughed, drank. Then Noon did something that broke me completely. She picked up our wedding photo from the nightstand, the one showing us at the Buddhist ceremony, smiling, hopeful, and showed it to Somchai. They both laughed. The camera had audio. I turned up the volume. Noon said something in Thai. My Thai was basic, but I caught key words. Farang, foreigner. Go, stupid. Gun, money. Then she said something more, and though I couldn't translate every word, the meaning was clear from her tone and laughter. He thinks I'm his future. He's just my bank, Somchai responded, asking something about the land purchase. Noon explained that once the land was transferred to her family's name, once the paperwork was finalized, she'd have secured everything she needed. Then she could decide whether to stay with me or not. Maybe I stay a little longer, she said in Thai mixed with English. Mike is good bank, still has money. Maybe I can get more before I finish with him. They laughed again, talked about their plans, about how Somchai would use some of the money to start a business, about how Noon's family would split the proceeds from eventually selling the land, about how easy it was to manipulate old foreign men who were desperate for young Thai wives. I watched for another 10 minutes, watched them mock my generosity, my love, my naivety, watched them drink my whiskey and plan my financial destruction in the bed I'd paid for. Then I turned off the feed, saved all the footage to my phone and to cloud storage, and sat in my car at that rest stop trying not to vomit. I'd been married for 5 months. I'd spent nearly 80,000 pounds. I'd been days away from transferring another 90,000. And the woman I loved, the woman I'd married, the woman I'd built a life for, she'd been playing me from the very beginning. That's when I made my decision. I wasn't going to confront her. I wasn't going to shout or cry or plead. I was going to use this evidence to protect myself and ensure she faced consequences. I drove to Chiang Mai Tourist Police Station. I walked into Chiang Mai Tourist Police Station at 4 in the afternoon, phone in hand, still shaking from what I'd seen. The officer at the front desk spoke decent English. I need to report fraud, I said, by my Thai wife. He led me to an office where I met with Lieutenant Somchai, different from Noon's boyfriend, which was a relief. I showed him everything. I've been married for 5 months, I explained. I've spent approximately 7 million baht on my wife and her family wedding, dowry, house renovation, monthly support. Tomorrow, I was supposed to sign documents transferring 4 million baht worth of land to her family's name. But I installed a security camera in my house, and I caught my wife having an affair and discussing how she's been scamming me. I showed him the footage. He watched in silence, his expression darkening. Then he asked me to explain everything from the beginning, how we met, how the relationship developed, every financial transaction. I told him everything, showed him bank transfer records, receipts for the Sinsad, documentation of the house renovation payments, the monthly support transfers, showed him screenshots of Noon's messages about the land purchase, about how it was an investment in our family's future. Then I showed him the camera footage again, the affair, the mocking, the discussion about securing assets before deciding whether to stay with me. This is a difficult case, Lieutenant Somchai said after reviewing everything. Normally, marriage fraud is civil matter, not criminal. Wives taking money from husbands is common situation, but this footage changes things. How? She discusses in video that she is waiting until property transfer is complete. Then we'll decide whether to leave you. This shows intent to defraud to obtain property through false pretense. Is not just bad wife, is criminal fraud. Can you stop the land transfer? Yes. If we file criminal complaint immediately, we can freeze the transaction. Land will not transfer until investigation is complete. But you need to not go to Bangkok tomorrow. Need to not sign any documents. I'm not signing anything. Over the next 2 hours, Lieutenant Somchai helped me file a formal criminal complaint. The charge was fraud by false pretense and conspiracy to defraud a foreign national. The evidence was my testimony, the bank records showing the pattern of escalating financial requests, and the camera footage showing Noon's intent. "What happens next?" I asked. "We will investigate. We'll interview your wife. We'll interview her family. We'll track the money where it went, what it was used for. If we find evidence of fraud, we will press charges. Will she go to prison? Possibly. Depends on investigation findings. But at minimum, the land transfer will be frozen. She will not get the 4 million baht, and any assets purchased with your money may be seized." "What about the money I already spent? The house renovation, the monthly support?" Lieutenant Somchai looked sympathetic. "That money is probably gone. Used already. Difficult to recover. But we can try." I left the police station that evening feeling empty. I'd stopped Noon from getting another 90,000 pounds, but I'd already lost nearly 80,000. And my marriage, fake as it was over. I messaged Noon from the road. "Stay at the house tonight. I'm staying in Bangkok to finalize some documents. We'll be home tomorrow." She responded with loving messages. "Miss you already. Hope everything goes well. Love you." I didn't respond. Just drove to a hotel in Chiang Mai and spent the night staring at the ceiling, replaying every moment of our relationship, wondering how I'd been so blind. The next morning I returned home. Noon was in the kitchen making breakfast, smiling when I walked in. "You're back early. I thought you were staying another night in Bangkok. How did the documents go?" "I didn't sign them," I said flatly. Her smile faltered. "What? Why not? Is there a problem?" "You could say that." I pulled out my phone, opened the camera footage, pressed play, turned the screen toward her. Her face went white. She watched for about 10 seconds, saw herself with Somchai in our bed, then looked up at me with panic in her eyes. "Mike, I can explain. Can you? Can you explain why you're fucking your cousin in our bed while I'm supposedly in Bangkok signing over 90,000 pounds to your family?" "He's not my cousin." "I know he's not your cousin. I know he's your boyfriend. I know you've been scamming me from the beginning. I know about your family's house renovation that probably never happened. I know about the land that was supposed to secure your parents' future. I know everything, Noon. Or should I call you by whatever your real name is?" She tried to cry, tried to claim it was a mistake, that she loved me but had gotten confused, that Somchai had forced himself on her. "I've already been to the police," I said. "I filed a criminal complaint for fraud. They're investigating everything, the house renovation, the land purchase, all of it. The land transfer is frozen. You're not getting another baht from me." That's when her demeanor changed completely. The tears stopped. The pleading stopped. She looked at me with cold calculation. "You think you are so smart," she said in English, much more fluent than she'd pretended to speak. "You think you won something? You already gave me and my family 3 million baht. That money is gone. You can't get it back. So what did you win?" "Nothing." "You're going to prison," I said. She laughed. "Maybe, maybe not. Thai prison for Thai woman who took money from old Farang? Police won't care. You were stupid enough to give me money. That's your problem." That's when there was a knock at the door. Lieutenant Somchai and 2 other officers stood outside. "Kun Nari Thitipong," he said formally. "We need you to come with us for questioning regarding a fraud complaint." The look on Noon's face, shock, betrayal, fury, was almost worth the 80,000 pounds I'd lost. They didn't arrest her immediately, just brought her in for questioning. But the questioning led to further investigation, which led to discoveries I hadn't even known about. Over the next 2 weeks, the police investigation uncovered things that made my situation look almost quaint. Noon's real name was indeed Nari Thitipong, but she'd been using multiple variations to avoid detection. The house renovation I'd funded? Her family's house had been renovated years earlier. The photos she'd shown me were from that project. My 2.5 million baht had gone directly to her and her boyfriend's personal accounts. Her sick father was fine, no diabetes, no medical crisis. Her younger brother needing university tuition was actually her younger sister who was already working as a massage therapist in Bangkok. The land purchase? The land existed, but the once-in-lifetime opportunity was fabricated. The land was owned by her boyfriend, Somchai's family, and was worth maybe 1 million baht, not 4 million. The plan had been to transfer my 4 million baht to buy it at inflated price, pocket the difference, then eventually sell it again. But the most damaging discovery was that I wasn't her first victim. Police found evidence of 2 previous foreign husbands. An Australian man named Peter, 62 years old, who'd married Noon in 2021. She'd gotten approximately 2 million baht from him before he'd caught her with another man and divorced her. A German man named Heinrich, 57 years old, who'd been engaged to Noon in 2022. He'd sent her 1.5 million baht before discovering she was simultaneously engaged to another man. Neither had reported her to police, too ashamed, too eager to just leave Thailand and forget. Additionally, police found messages between Noon and her boyfriend Somchai discussing other potential targets, older foreign men they'd identified through expat social groups and dating apps. She is professional, Lieutenant Somchai told me. This is not woman who made mistake. This is criminal who targets foreign men systematically. She has done this multiple times. Would have continued doing this if you had not stopped her. The investigation also uncovered Somchai's role. He was actively involved, helping Noon identify targets, playing the cousin role to maintain access while she was married, helping launder money through his accounts. Both were arrested in early September and charged with multiple counts of fraud by false pretense, conspiracy to defraud foreign nationals, money laundering, identity deception, using multiple name variations. The trial was held in Chiang Mai Provincial Court in November. I testified, showing the camera footage, explaining the financial transactions, describing the manipulation. Peter, the Australian, flew back to Thailand to testify. Heinrich, the German, provided video testimony. The evidence was overwhelming. Noon's lawyer tried to argue cultural misunderstanding, that foreign men giving money to Thai wives was normal practice, that there was no criminal intent. But the prosecutor destroyed that defense with the camera footage, played the audio of Noon mocking me, discussing securing assets before deciding whether to leave, planning with Somchai how to extract maximum money. This is not cultural difference, the prosecutor said. This is premeditated fraud against multiple victims over multiple years. The verdict came swiftly. Guilty on all counts. Sentencing. Noon received 4 years imprisonment. Somchai received 3 years as an accomplice. Additionally, all assets purchased with fraudulent funds would be seized. Restitution would be paid to victims from seized assets. They would be required to repay remaining amounts after release. For me, that meant I'd recover approximately 1,200,000 baht from seized assets, about 27,000 pounds of the 80,000 I'd lost. Not much, but something. More importantly, the land transfer had been stopped. I'd saved myself the 90,000-pound loss I'd been days away from. It's been 9 months since the trial. I'm still in Chiang Mai, still living in the house I built. I considered selling it and returning to England, but I've grown to love Thailand despite what happened. I divorced Noon while she was awaiting trial. Thai divorce is straightforward when there's proven infidelity and fraud. The divorce cost me another 50,000 baht in legal fees, but it was worth it to be legally free of her. I recovered about 27,000 pounds from the asset seizure. Combined with what I have left, I'm still financially comfortable. Not as wealthy as when I first arrived in Thailand, but secure enough for a modest retirement. The emotional recovery has been harder. I can't trust easily anymore. Every interaction with Thai women feels suspect. Every friendly smile seems calculating. Every kind gesture feels like manipulation. I know that's unfair. Most Thai people are honest and kind. Noon was a professional criminal who happened to be Thai. Her actions don't represent Thai people any more than British fraudsters represent all British people. But the damage is done. I'm more cautious, more skeptical, more guarded. I did one thing that I hope helps others. I shared my story with a British expat YouTube channel that warns about Thailand scams. They made a video using my testimony, the camera footage, edited to protect privacy, but show the key moments and the trial outcome. The video went viral in expat communities. Thousands of comments from men sharing similar stories, dozens of messages thanking me for speaking up, several men saying the video stopped them from making similar mistakes. That public exposure comes with cost. Some people think I'm pathetic, a stupid old man who deserved to lose his money for chasing young Thai girls. Others think I'm vindictive, using camera footage to destroy a young woman's life over a failed marriage. But most people understand. I was targeted by a professional criminal who saw my loneliness and wealth as opportunity. And I fought back, using evidence to protect myself and warn others. I'm writing this at my home in Chiang Mai, looking at the mountains I once thought I'd share with Noon. The view hasn't changed, but I see it differently now, more cautiously, more clearly. If you're reading this because you're in a relationship with a Thai woman you're unsure about, here's what I learned. Trust your instincts. I knew something was wrong weeks before I installed the camera. The phone hiding, the physical distance, the mysterious cousin. I ignored those instincts because I wanted to believe. Don't make that mistake. Age gaps matter. I'm not saying age gap relationships can't work, but when a 22-year-old pursues a 58-year-old, money is almost always a factor. Be honest about that. Verify everything. If she says her family needs money for house renovation, visit the house. If she says land is a great investment, hire an independent lawyer to verify. If she says she's a university graduate, see the degree. Don't take anything on faith. Protect your assets. Never put property in someone else's name, no matter what Thai law requires. Never transfer large amounts without legal documentation. Never make yourself financially vulnerable to someone you've known for less than years. Watch for escalation. Noon started with small requests, nothing alarming. Then came the wedding dowry. Then house renovation. Then monthly support. Then the land purchase. Each request built on my commitment to the previous one. That escalation is a pattern. Document everything. The camera footage saved me £90,000. Without it, police wouldn't have taken the case seriously. Document transfers, save messages, keep receipts, gather evidence. Report fraud immediately. Most victims don't report because they're ashamed. That silence protects scammers. If you discover fraud, go to police immediately, even if you're embarrassed. Know the legal limits. The camera I installed may have been illegal. In some jurisdictions, secret recordings aren't admissible as evidence. In my case, Thai authorities accepted it, but that's not guaranteed. Consult a lawyer before covert surveillance. The camera footage destroyed me emotionally, watching the woman I loved mock me, plan my financial destruction, laugh about manipulating me. Those images haunt me still. But that footage also saved me. Saved me from losing another £90,000. Saved me from years of continued manipulation. Saved me from complete financial ruin. Was it worth it? I'm not sure. I lost £80,000 regardless. I lost my faith in relationships. I lost my ability to trust. But I stopped Noon from destroying me completely. And I stopped her from destroying the next victim. And the next. And the next. That has to count for something. If this story has helped you understand how sophisticated marriage fraud works and why documentation and verification are crucial, please share it widely. These stories are difficult to tell, but necessary to warn others. Remember, real love doesn't require constant financial rescue. Real partners are transparent, not secretive. Real relationships withstand verification and questioning. Protect yourself, document everything, trust your instincts, and never let loneliness override caution. And if you must use surveillance to protect yourself, understand the legal and ethical implications first.